In the recent years, there has been an increase in polarizing speeches both on feminism and on masculinity. But behind a false sense of empowerment, those speeches often hide some hateful rhetoric that end up isolating people much more than empowering them in any way. And in this video, I wanted to share my observation over those past 10 years of what those movements have become. Because the curious thing is, I have been on both sides of the spectrum. By that I mean that I have been helping many guys in the male self-development movement to get a girlfriend, to become more confident, more assertive, and since I have been doing therapy and hypnotherapy for many years, I had the chance, the opportunity to work with quite a lot of women too, in their 30s, in their 40s, some of them in their 50s, and I have been exposed kind of from the inside to this rhetoric in the same way of I am a strong independent woman, I can do everything I want, you ain't nobody to tell me shit. I have seen that from the inside, and on both sides I kept seeing one extremely toxic thing on both men and women that I wanted to talk about in this video. From my point of view, what started as empowering movements, so masculinity becoming more masculine, more assertive, and feminism becoming a strong woman who's not afraid of going after the life she wants, on both of those movements, what started as improving yourself, empowering yourself, ended up in the last years getting more and more into hating anybody who does not think like you and putting you in a box, whether you fit in it or not at all. Personally, I don't have any problem with guys watching and rotate or anybody like this. If this can give them some sense of self-confidence and making them more assertive, why not? The same way I don't have any problem with feminism in itself when it is giving women more empowerment, fine. Where I personally draw the line on both sides is when you start feeling some sense of you have to degrade and shame and lower the people from the opposite side, presuming we are opposites. We are not opposites at all, but presuming there is an enemy, and when you start feeling the need to degrade, lower, and call a name any person who does not think like you, just to elevate yourself and becoming even more empowered by getting other people down, that is where I draw the line. Whatever your gender is, I think there is a massive problem here. Because from what I have seen in therapy on both men and women, when they start generalizing like this, like all men are like that, all men are insecure piece of shit, or all women are just garbage feminists, when they start getting to that level of generalization of they are all the same, it is every time, literally every time, because there has been one person who really took advantage of them or really hurt them in some way. So for guys, quite often they had one girlfriend with whom it happened extremely bad, and now they are acting hateful against every possible woman. And for women, it is mostly because they have been dumped or manipulated by one ex-boyfriend, if it is not by her father when she was younger. In the same way, men may have had some trouble with their mother when they were a child. Whatever the case is, there has been one person usually with whom the relationship ended up extremely badly, and now with all the social media rhetoric that it is because of this, no, it is because of that, of this political movement, no, it is because of this politics thing. In the end, they end up trying to find somebody to blame rather than healing themselves. And I noticed whenever I was getting people to describe, at least attempt to describe one example, when it is a guy who says that all feminists are terrible people who just want to emasculate men, I'm like, okay, fine, just can you name one example of a woman like that in your personal life? Or somebody you talk to personally, not on social media, not somebody you watched or heard, somebody you had an exchange with in your personal life. Same thing on the other side. Sometimes I had women in therapy, and when touching their emotional hotspots, a few of them started getting extremely masculine in their behavior and starting to act as if I was an enemy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just here to help you, so why do you engage into a battle with me? I just talked about something emotional. Maybe you connected to something else. That doesn't mean I am at fault for what you endured. Maybe you have been taken advantage of. Maybe you have been bullied or hurt in some way. That still doesn't mean I am responsible for this. So why are you behaving in that way with me right now? That doesn't make any sense for me. Can you clarify that, please? And whenever I was getting there, suddenly the people were getting like not moving anymore, stop breathing. Because yes, obviously, if you are hateful and if you try to degrade and lower people around you, obviously something bad happened to you with usually one specific person. Until that fucked up thing is healed from the inside, you will keep finding enemies everywhere. Whether on social media, in your personal life, you will keep attracting the wrong type of people because something inside you has not been fixed. And even without going into deep therapy, the big negative result I keep seeing is with all this hateful rhetoric, most people start getting less and less connected to what they really want, especially sexually speaking. When people are ashamed, again on both sides, because men are being ashamed of watching porn or anything like that, women are being ashamed of not being married and have 5 kids with the perfect husband by 25 years old, everyone is getting so stressed out about just saying one thing, eventually to their group of friends, to the people around them. They are just shutting down their real desires, and specifically sexual ones. When sexual desires are being repressed, they are going to explode somewhere else. Either when people are getting drunk and they get aggressive, or maybe when they get into some argument that doesn't even revolve around them, but they get triggered and they want to punch back. And like, yeah, can you just chill out? Like, maybe the person in front of you didn't say anything about you specifically, so why do you get so emotionally triggered by this? So this seems to have created a shitload of negative arguments, of negative conflicts in people's lives, and I'm not sure how it is still helping anyone when it is only about blaming somebody else for who and what you are. I believe, just my opinion, I believe more in taking ownership of how you react and how you respond to other people, and what type of individuals do you keep attracting in your life. If you keep connecting with toxic individuals, maybe ask yourself what in you is looking for somebody like this. What in you has eventually maybe called for a person like this who is overly aggressive, who is manipulative, who is acting bratty or way too dominant in the wrong sense of the term. What in you may have attracted that type of individual? Because whenever you enter in conflict, right now talking from the male perspective, if you are entering conflict repeatedly with women, whereas they are not even part of your life, they just happen to be there and you're in conflict with them all the time, maybe just reflect upon what do you perceive of their intention? That is an intricate thing, and I have prepared a PDF down below that you can check if you want to figure out how to respond when a woman is apparently sending you a shit test or trying to push your hot buttons emotionally. How can you react and respond? And in order to know how to react and respond, you first need to figure out what is the intention of that person interacting with you right now. Maybe that person is just wounded, is just hurt and trying to degrade you or punch you metaphorically so that they can get elevated in their self-esteem, they can get some ego gratification out of lowering your value in that context. Whatever happens, when you get into conflict, it means you haven't clarified enough the intention of that person. And as a result, that person may act as a bully against you, but maybe you were not even the one being targeted by that behavior. So how to respond to that, how to get some distance from those people, everything is covered in that small document. I have included 7 language patterns that I happen to use quite a lot of times whenever I notice somebody is starting to project something on me, or as I was not even at cause for what they felt, and I developed a way linguistically to get some distance from any argument like this. You can learn to do the same thing by downloading what is down below in the description, and I hope this will be helpful. I know it is a very polarizing topic, and I know it may trigger some sense of belonging, like I have to pick a side, I have to belong to this and hate the people who don't think like me. Well, in the end, I would say you're fine as long as you don't generalize. That's the only opinion I have about this matter. You can not like certain people. That doesn't mean all the people from that gender, ethnicity, social group, social class, whatever, are the same. Just because a few of the people you've met you didn't connect with or you had an argument with, that doesn't mean all the people who look like that person are necessarily evil and have bad intentions. Those are my 2 cents about it. I hope this can be helpful to at least a few people. If that can happen, I will be lucky, and see you soon in the next video.